here again, the thing that makes things move is money. So I see a broad variety of people in here, which is wonderful. I think what we can do with you people in this room is we can get it out into the community after this discussion today of what we're trying to achieve. Where the bike route's going to go, money available, funding available, time frames, everything of that nature. So this is an informational meeting on all aspects of that. And not only that aspect, it's also in the aspects of, if you want to help fund this bicycle trail, there's tax advantages to doing so, and we have Scott here today, and he's going to speak on that, Scott and Joe. It's too complicated for me to explain, but how you funnel this money, private money, into another fund to specifically ear tag it for our bike trail is what we have to accomplish, and that's what these gentlemen can take to the table. So with all that being said, I'm gonna let Mike speak on the trail, development of the trail, where we start at today, and how he perceives it progressing.
Thanks, Kirk. Yeah, I'll just give a real simple summary, I guess, of where we're at. Obviously, creating a trail from Perry to Woodward without an existing intact railroad right-of-way is complicated, and we've seen that over the last couple of years that we've been working on it. So we have narrowed into a route, as Kirk had mentioned, starting on 18th Street, utilize railroad right-of-way there, go out to the gravel road, and then somehow, either by a combination of utilizing road right-of-ways or possibly adjacent landowners, we'll continue on to Boughton. And then from Boughton, we're working with a combination of landowners who have some existing railroad right-of-ways still in their ownership. We're working on agreements on them. And so it'll be a combination of hopping back on an old railroad right-of-way again, and then probably having to bump down onto the county paved road just to get from point A to point B. And so that's an ever-changing thing from day to day. You think that, okay, I've got something working on, and all of a sudden something changes, put it in reverse and go around and that type of thing. So we've been doing that for a couple of years now, but we're getting there. But the point is, at least on paper, we can now draw a line, and this is our intent, is to put it here. It may not be exactly right here, we might have to put it over 10 foot one way or the other, but we have decided on a route. And that's important for many reasons. The community wants to know and needs to know where we would be putting these trail and the route regarding the trail. But more importantly, in the grants that we've been applying for, kind of up until now, we've been able to just say in general, yeah, we're trying to raise funds to build trail from Perry to Woodward. And on most of the grants, that's been okay. Getting grants for preliminary engineering or a feasibility study, they didn't need to know exactly where the line was going to be. Take a step further, when we started applying for dollars for acquisition, then you kind of need to zero in on, okay, we're going to give you acquisition dollars, but can you kind of tell us where? And so there's another reason for deciding on a route. And then kind of the final step is when you apply for dollars for construction dollars, you absolutely need to have that fine-tuned line on a map. And kind of that's where we're at right now. Over the last couple of years, we did receive a feasibility study grant dollars and preliminary engineering dollars, so that's pretty much taken care of. We've got one section of the trail with some acquisition dollars that have been authorized. We've got another grant that's about ready to be authorized, and a couple others that are kind of falling in line. So we're going to take care of the acquisition dollars first, obviously, and then start really targeting design and construction and specifications. And that's where the big bucks come in. Typically, when you're only acquiring 30 feet a mile long does not amount to a lot of acres. So even at a large price per acre, there's not a lot of dollars spent on the acquisition part of it. But obviously, the big part of this is the construction dollars that's needed. In a perfect world, where would you ideally put a trail? You put it on an abandoned railroad right-of-way that's got a good solid base, and it's fairly easy and straightforward to do that. Stepping away from there, where's the next best place? If you can talk some landowner into either giving you an easement or letting you acquire some property, that's a good thing too. The hardest place to put a trail would be in the road ditch, and we're going to use all three of those methods. So you can see how complicated this is going to be, but to get from here to there, that's what we have to do. And of those three methods, as you start progressing to option B and option C, the costs go up, as you might imagine. If you get a good solid base on an old railroad right-of-way, you don't have to bring in fill material, basically. You don't have to worry about ditches because the railroad already built that for you. And so ideally, railroad right-of-ways are the cheapest place and the best place to build trails. Where we're at. We are, like I said, we've got the acquisition dollars pretty much taken care of. There's one more grant I need to apply for to kind of finish up that based on some of our estimates. Engineering dollars are pretty much intact for the preliminary engineering. The funny thing about the grants is most of our big grants that we get are either federal or state grants. And they're only out there one time a year, basically. The federal transportation grants are usually due in October, and then over the next several months, the various committees review those grants, and January, February, you kind of hear back whether or not you're going to get funded or not. But because it's a federal fiscal year, that grant dollars are not available till that following October. And you can see what's happening here is in order to get money that you applied for last October, it's not even available till next October. Then once you have that money in your hand and you start doing the plan work or whatever, because if you start spending any of that money ahead of time, you won't get reimbursed. So they really kind of hold on to you.